maybe I'm just a bit too much of an old cynic, Chris, but I think there's just too much corporate competition for grabbing that slice of the pie. I don't know what you think. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
being cynical.
I mean, there may be different models come out. I mean, there may
Yeah.
be an opportunity for perhaps third parties or certain manufacturers to have a broad range of equipment under management, but with perhaps a shallow range of data accessible. So perhaps fault alarms. So let's say on a multi-vendor estate, equipment fault alarms can be captured by this platform, remote monitoring system platform. So that might be one model, but there also could be a more narrow range of technologies that you could get this very deep analytics from, and that is probably where the proprietary data is going to be kept. So if you want to analyze the causes of faults, for example, then you're going to have to get something from the OEM. If you just want something which is going to alert you to the faults, then maybe something from a third party could capture that. So there could well be differences in the market, and the two could probably sit. I wouldn't say happily together, but they could sit together. Particularly if there's customer pressure for
Yeah.
competitors to work together, essentially.
I think that comes down to it with almost overwhelmingly my touch points on servitization and the various case studies I've reviewed or interviews I've done, etc. I think the one piece that often gets overlooked is the importance of the customer pull, and overwhelmingly, I find that there has to be either an industry pull, like we think of maybe the example of what MAN Trucks did in the UK. There's very much an industry pull because the haulage industry was on its knees in terms of where that margin had become so paper thin. So there was a very clear need there. All the other examples we see, again we talk to the Hollywood examples, the Caterpillars or the Rolls Royces, etc. It's almost always invariably when you dig into it, there's a big driver in that is the customer's requirement, and it's not something that's so much pushed. And I think to your point, I think that customer pressure could be the thing that makes it work, and then once that's in place, then that can be a catalyst where it ceases to be competing companies, and it becomes an ecosystem, and then that can be pushed out to different areas. I certainly think there's more likely to be a drive in areas where there's consumer than industrial. So almost the facilities sector, for example, airports. I could see how there's that additional value add of what that can come from the data. Bosch in from their CCTV. There's a more technical name for it from that, but you know what I mean. The application they put in across Schiphol Airport evolved from being, look, we can just monitor where we can provide your data camera, your security cameras, to, well, now we can provide data that allows you to take actionable insight, which evolved to, well, now we can tell you that there's no footfall in this section of the airport, so you may as well turn off the lights at 4 a.m. That kind of thing. So you can there's various different layers. That could be equally done by a lighting company that have sensorized lighting, or by a hand dryer. You can tell usage. I think those kind of things where we can start to predict footfall, even within an office environment. Well, nobody's ever using the print room at the back of floor 7. Everyone uses the one at the front of floor 4. Right, well, let's get rid of that. Let's use that for something useful, and let's make sure that this print room is more well equipped. I think those kind of different layers of value are something that can come in, and I wonder because that's where I see where there could be a vendor push or a solution provider push to say, look, this is what we can solve. But then I still see how that could be quite. I think there's going to be friction in that conversation between competing vendors. Again, maybe I'm just being cynical, but I do think, to your point though, I think I'm only scratching the surface of understanding, and I think there is a huge amount of potential, and we will see new models, absolutely.
And I think just on that point, we may see different manufacturers. Some of them wish to go down this route to sort of analyze, interpret, explain what the data means. So your example of the airport obviously could be provided in a number of other cases in the lift manufacturing sector. How which lifts did you need to keep operational all the time? Do you need additional lifts because of the a big influx of people coming into a different part of the building? Do some lifts need to miss out floors because everybody gets off at the 38th floor and nobody gets off before then, for example? So I mean, to me that raises another question which is drawn out in the literature, the capabilities to actually do this. So we may find that this very high level data analytics capability is not something that every manufacturer wants to do. They may feel, well, we need to do it to a certain level to remain competitive, but we don't want to be in this almost performance advisory business, advising customers on how many of the products they need, where they need them, what type of products. So because these data analytics skills are necessarily quite expensive to either acquire or to buy in, so not everybody is probably going to want to do that in the longer term, I would think.